Ah yes, cringe compilations and animation memes. Two things that have dominated YouTube over the past couple of months. But what happens when these two kinds of videos meet? Hold on to your hot milk and strap yourselves in because it's Pentagrin here and I'm about to have my first ever rant. And the topic for discussion today is animation meme compilations, so let's get right into it. You might be asking yourself, what is an animation meme and what are cringe compilations? Well, an animation meme, at its barest, is a short animation often consisting of a person's OC or even an official character dancing to a specific tune or doing some sort of repetitive movement in relation to the song's lyrical content. Animation memes are called memes because they are clones of an original piece that have had characters change or other aspects change, but at their core, they are not entirely distinct from the original. A cringe compilation, on the other hand, is a video comprised of clips taken from other sources that are supposed to invoke a cringing reaction from its audiences. A lot of cringe compilations target groups that are seen as cringy, such as bronies, fairies, or weeaboos. Recently, users have begun exploiting animation memes that they deem cringy as well. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the more juicy stuff. I find that most of the criticism against these compilations is that these comp creators shouldn't make these videos because animation is hard and it's unfair to the artists who put effort into these memes. And whilst I find that this is a fair enough point, I can't help but feel that there are more jarring reasons as to why these kinds of compilations are highly hypocritical and inconsiderate. Reason number 1. The constructive criticism they provide. Okay, hear me out. I've had to sit through an abundance of these compilations to be able to back up my claims with numbers, and I can assure you that few, and I mean very few, cringe compilations have valid and informative criticism included, advising artists on how to better their work. However, most of the compilations claiming to have constructive criticism are incredibly lazy with this so-called criticism. It looks like they just threw in a couple of lines to try and not piss anyone in the comment section off. An example of this would be the comment I found saying, "This user even had sans GF in their username." How does this affect this person's work in any way? This isn't even critiquing the animation, this is just complaining about a person's username in the hopes that it'd make the meme more cringeworthy. Newsflash, guys. But constructive criticism is called constructive for a reason. Its purpose is to better an artist or writer or any content creator by politely pointing out the flaws and suggesting on ways on how to improve. That last thing is important. You are supposed to give them ways on how to improve. Just pointing at something and screaming, "Cringe! I don't like that! It's bad! Bad username!" That is primitive. Honestly, if you don't have the knowledge of the subject to be able to grant constructive criticism, then don't just insult the artist. Reason number 2. Cringe compilations are effortless to create. Think about this for a moment. Compilation creators often have the audacity to say that animation meme creators are being lazy or are putting no effort into their creations. Now riddle me this. How much effort does it take to scroll through a few videos, find some ones you don't like, download them through a YouTube to MP4 converter, and shove them all onto Windows Movie Maker or other software that requires literally no practice on how to operate? Maybe you could even throw in a few filthy Frank clips for extra spice. Exactly. At least meme creators are creating something with their own two hands, whilst comp creators are just shoving together other people's work like a high schooler trying to write an essay an hour before it's due. A lot of people post the phrase, "I'd like to see you do better," in animation cringe compilations, and honestly, that's a good thing to point out, especially if the compilation owner is saying those featured in the video are lazy and or unoriginal. However, with that I'd just like to point out that I am a firm believer that one can critique something they don't have a great knowledge of, but if you're going to throw such an insulting claim at someone, then you sure as hell can't afford to be a hypocrite. The last point I think I'll make today is about the compilation creators themselves. Most of them can't spell, can't draw, and certainly can't act like they have any form of high ground to the artist creating these memes. A lot of them will throw the words edgy around, or how a character type is overused. Now let's consider this. You are using some of the most overused reaction videos within your compilations, and half of your comment sections are bleach jokes. I'm sorry mate, but your videos are the exact same thing you hate people doing in animation memes, but in a different format that took less time and effort to create. My conclusion? Animation meme cringe compilations are just as cringy as the memes they're trying to mock, and with that, I'm out.